glad to say, man, this is Wrestling Unlimited. So on Friday, Janel Grant's attorneys amended her lawsuit against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and WWE. The original 64-page lawsuit had 34 new pages added, making it now 101 pages in total. Now with that, we have combed through the amended claim and pulled out some of the bigger, more important, I guess you would say, and maybe even damning things that have been added, with the first biggest one being that Brock Lesnar's name is now in the lawsuit. Originally, Brock Lesnar was just named as WWE Superstar and former UFC Heavyweight Champion, but now Brock's name appears 12 times in the lawsuit. At one point, an incident is described as McMahon and Grant having intercourse and Vince pretending that he's Brock Lesnar. One of the biggest things, though, as far as Brock Lesnar being named in the lawsuit, is Article 235 that says, quote, McMahon actively attempted to organize a sexual encounter between Ms. Grant and Lesnar, stating, quote, you have to take a flight to Greenville, South Carolina this Monday, even if it's just to see Brock. They do have a screenshot of the text messages that also says, I bet he calls you tonight. Also, it has been confirmed that WWE Corporate Officer number 1 is Nick Khan, with WWE Corporate Officer number 2 being Brad Blum. Their names both now appear in the lawsuit. A new paragraph has been added in Article 112 that states, quote, as she continued to be abused by McMahon and eventually others at WWE, Ms. Grant did not feel free to simply quit her job and walk away. Immersion in the legal department demonstrated that Ms. Grant, the highly reactive, even retaliatory nature of WWE, such that she felt increasingly trapped. It has also been disclosed in Article 136 that McMahon would actually send emails to Grant, but not listed as Janel Grant, but sending them to Thomas Grant. It states, quote, in the weeks that followed, despite McMahon's warning about rumors and direction to Miss Grant to, quote, play dumb, he began showing explicit photos of Miss Grant to people both inside and outside the company, while openly and recklessly sharing her explicit content with others. He simultaneously sought to conceal his inappropriate behavior, including by addressing WWE emails to Miss Grant as, quote, Thomas Grant. You can see those here in the screenshots that were shared. One of the biggest new additions comes in Article 160 that states, quote, in or about September 2020, Mr. McMahon instructed Ms. Grant to create customized pornographic content for producer Michael Hayes and his crew. There's then a screenshot of a text message, actually 2 text messages sent to Vince. It looks like they're photos of Grant, but she's blocked out in these images. One that states, Dear Vince's crew, hope you enjoy these pics, XOXO. The second one states, Hey Michael, Vince's stories are true, and I love to live up to the hype. XOXO. As far as Michael Hayes does go, Michael Hayes is still with the WWE, working as a producer backstage. Yes, in late 2024, he did take some time away from the company briefly, but is back on the road working with the company right now. It is unclear with these new allegations if he will or will not be pulled from the road. They also claim that McMahon video called Laurinaitis during one of their sexual encounters without Janel Grant's consent, as Article 170 now writes, quote, McMahon then facilitated the exchange of explicit content back and forth between Ms. Grant and Laurinaitis, and exchanged explicit content with Laurinaitis himself. For example, without her knowing or consent, McMahon video called Laurinaitis and recorded Ms. Grant for Laurinaitis while she was nude. Laurinaitis also sent sexual explicit video from Arizona to Mr. McMahon to be shared with Ms. Grant. It is also being stated that when she was moved to talent relations, WWE actually constructed, I guess you could say, a new suite for John Laurinaitis to have access to Janel Grant, as Article 206 reads, quote, upon her move to talent relations, WWE constructed a new custom corner office suite to Laurinaitis' taste, sharing a wall with the Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategies and Development, Paul Levesque, known as Triple H. Ms. Grant's office had an internal door that connected directly into Laurinaitis' office. You can also see some floor plans detailing this here as well. In conjunction with this, Article 207 reads, quote, Nick Khan and Brad Blum were involved in the planning of Laurinaitis' custom suite, where Ms. Grant would ultimately be exploited. Now, for content here, basically this is claiming that Nick Khan and Brad Blum may have known about the relationship and everything going on, but never acted upon it, were never involved in any of it themselves. The suite now also has a transcript of a voice message McMahon left for Grant, repeatedly asking her to sign the NDA. basically pointing out that he's double fucked and that he could be kicked out of his own company for these issues. Article 253 now reads, quote, on January 27th, 2022, just 8 days after Ms. Grant had hired an attorney, Mr. McMahon left Ms. Grant a lengthy audio message explaining why they needed to go through with the NDA, pushing her to hurry up and sign the NDA, and advising that he would be, quote, double fucked if she did not, presumably referring to both his divorce and report to the board of directors. McMahon rejected Ms. Grant's desire to back out of the agreement, acknowledging the extreme repercussions that he and WWE would face if she did not sign the NDA. The transcript of that voice memo reads substantially as follows. Hi, baby. I'm packing up because I gotta get out of here and go to bed. I'm still at the office and I got a board meeting in the morning at 10 o'clock. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. In any event, on the agreement stuff, we have to do it. And here's why. Because there's a new twist in this fucking thing. Wow, is this ever going to end? So there's an audit committee. It's a public company. And if we don't get this done by the 31st, I'm fucked because McDivitt is in charge of the legal. Voice from conference room speaker, nobody else on the call. Goodbye. It sounds like boardroom. It's the conference room I'm in. Goodbye. It's the conference room. So McDivitt is in charge of the fucking audit of the books kind of like thing. He's got to tell the audit committee there's no lawsuits. There's no pending this. There's no that. Kind of like thing. And he won't do and can't do it legally unless I get this thing signed. So we need to work on this really fucking fast. Otherwise, I'm double fucked. I'll be divorced aside from that. I'll be fucking, you know. I don't know what this is going to do in terms of, shit, if I don't get it done, he's going to go to the audit committee and say, by the way, here where we're saying yada, 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 Janel. So now the board knows my story, knows what's going on. And it's like, oh my God, holy shit. You know, they kick people out of their own fucking company. That's going to happen here. But, oh my God, it's like public shit and all that kind of stuff. So I'm fucking tired of this shit. But in any event, sorry to be responding so late. But, so we've got to get this fucking thing done so quickly, baby. I had no idea that McDivitt was, well, not turn on me because that's not really the case at all. It's a legal deal, you know? And he can't say to the audit committee, quote, no, I never told him any of this stuff, end quote. He wouldn't know. But now he knows. And now he's been involved in, you know, in writing some of this and all that kind of crap. And I got to get this fucking thing done or I'm double fucked. So let's please, you and I can't do it first thing in the morning because it's 10 o'clock, but as soon as we can. Let's please get this thing done in some way, somehow, okay? I'm sorry, baby. We have to do it this way because I'd like to do it on a napkin, but now I can't. So I'm kind of fucked, but that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but let's get this thing done, please, so we can go on about our lives. Okay, baby? I'll talk to you in the morning. I'm sorry to take up so much of your time. Okay, bye. New Article 254 also reads, quote, furthermore, McMahon's attorney who negotiated the NDA is referenced in the voice message, Jerry McDivitt, was also the person whom McMahon routinely and painstakingly referenced when telling Ms. Grant about the high-powered attorney he had on speed dial. Namely, McMahon referred to Mr. McDivitt as someone who was, quote, world-class at making problems go away. All of this was known to Ms. Grant and being reinforced by McMahon throughout the NDA process. While Ms. Grant was being represented by an attorney she had never met in person and who McMahon viewed as merely a formality. According to the suit, Grant agreed to the NDA, but did so under duress, which, according to them, if you do so under duress, it could make the NDA null and void, as Article 260 reads, quote, the duress experienced by Ms. Grant and the fraudulent inducement engaged in by McMahon were also specific and unique to individual terms within the NDA, such as the arbitration provision. Specifically, Ms. Grant was coerced and fraudulently induced to accept the arbitration provision. This is illustrated in part by the fact that Ms. Grant was told by her attorney that the terms of the agreement, e.g. the arbitration provision, could be undesirable as written. But given the perpetrated duress that had now been elevated by Ms. Grant's chronic abuser, McMahon, she was not able to make sound decisions regarding terms like the arbitration provisions. Finally, one of the bigger things in here also has to do kind of with the Netflix documentary about Vince McMahon, as she states that there was a scene in the actual Mr. McMahon documentary where Vince is seen looking at his cell phone, and on the cell phone were nude photos of Grant. Article 288 reads as followed. McMahon recklessly obtained Ms. Grant's nude photos while being filmed for a documentary, and shots of him viewing her nude images aired on Netflix in 2024 for the world to see. Now, as you see here in these images, there are two screenshots from the show, both showing Vince looking down on his phone, with the first image actually showing the conference room, I guess you could say, that they are in during the production meeting. The second image is just more clarification of Vince looking down on his phone. Then we have a third image of a text message, and on the text message, you do see the same conference room with the same people in the same seats. The first image on the text says, production meeting, now. The second one says, CK out Johnny, which I think means check out. Grant then responds with, he's adorable. You can only imagine how much he's doing for you. I'm so proud of him. So when I send you a sexy pic, this is the meeting I interrupt, huh? As far as more of the amendment goes, it's just more saying, Vince McMahon was in control of WWE when all this was going on. So no one was going to, I guess you could say, try to fight back on it, even if they knew this and that and so forth. But these are some of the bigger things that have been added to the lawsuit in the amendment that is now bringing the lawsuit up to 101 pages from 64. With that, if we do hear anything further on this new amendment to the lawsuit from Janel Grant to WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, we'll have it for you right here. Pro Wrestling Unlimited.